To be a Saint Marian means to be of service, one striving to follow in the footsteps of Saint Vincent de Paul, observing the needs of others and figuring out a way to meet them. Saint Marians give of themselves without looking for praise or admiration, and tonight's honoree is no exception. To the Catholic community in Kansas, Archbishop Emeritus James P. Keleher is a guiding light, a warm friend, and a mighty advocate of Catholic education. He is a true servant, one who has accomplished so much and done it all with his trademark smile and welcoming presence.
Joyful, appreciative, loving, and kind.
I would say Arch is just a kind, gentle soul that always exudes joy and shares that joy with everybody around him and draws people to him with that joy.
Oh, he's a true gentleman, and he always wants to know your name, whether it's a waiter in a restaurant, anyone. He just makes you feel warm.
A unique leader, and he led by example and by letting people do their thing.
I mean, he's just a joy to be around, and he was very kind to me, but also to my family who were here when I was welcomed, and you can't be around him and not be happy and not joyful and hopeful, and that's just his disposition.
Arch Jim, as he's affectionately called by so many, knew the need for Catholic education was great in our diocese, so led the charge in establishing 2 new Catholic high schools, Aquinas High School and St. James Academy.
Well, from the time he was Archbishop here, he's always been supportive of Catholic education, and which really goes into vocations too, that so many of our young priests or priests that he's ordained and been part of the Catholic school system.
I don't think there's anything more important to him. He loves children. He really loves children. And they know that, and they feel that.
Well, the one I think where I had the most influence is a school that I founded about 20 years ago, and it's a high school, St. James Academy. They want to name it Keleher Academy, but I said, nobody knows who that is 10 years from now. I said, but James, I like St. James, so let's call it St. James, so that's what we call it, St. James.
His legacy in creating greater access to Catholic education lives on today, as he also served as the guiding light on the Catholic Education Foundation, an organization dedicated to offering faith-filled learning to children living in poverty.
Aquinas High School, and they had a little dinner and breakfast out there, and afterwards they asked me to say something. And that's when Aquinas first opened. And in my remarks I said, you know, if this is all we're about is providing a Catholic education for the affluent, then we ought to shut this place down. And that kind of got his attention a little bit, and a few days later, Blake Mulvaney, and he called me and he says, what did you mean by that? I said, did you? Yeah, I'm serious about that.
So Archbishop Keleher said, okay, Tom, why don't you start a foundation raising funds for the inner city schools? And later it was the rural schools as well.
We want to give those young people a chance to develop their faith, as well as their educational abilities in all the fields that they're interested in. We want to see them productive, not just getting by, but learning and enriching themselves personally. That's what I want to see. Because those young people are the future.
When I think of Arch Jim as a bishop, it comes to mind the image of a shepherd, of gathering his flock, and that no sheep is left behind, especially for the poor. Arch Jim has a real heart for those without economic resources, especially children that need to be educated. And we see that in the Catholic Education Foundation, that if we're going to have Catholic education, it should be for everyone.
And his reach extends well beyond high school education to St. Mary, where low-income students make up nearly half of its undergraduate enrollment.
That's why I'm interested in that college, is because I know a lot of those young people there will be trained and will develop because of what they're getting there. and they're going to make it a better world for us.
And I suppose my greatest joy is watching him interact with our students and watching our students light up. They pull toward him like a magnet, and that the more they can be with him, the better.
Well, I'm so proud of St. Mary's for honoring Arch Jim. They couldn't have picked anybody better for that.
Arch Jim, we honor you tonight, not just for your dedication to the students of St. Mary, but to all the people you've supported and continue to support. Young, old, Catholics, convicts, rich and poor, in our city and beyond. You've touched thousands, and thank you could never fully capture just how grateful we are for your tireless work and your faithfulness to the people of Kansas City. You've inspired so many, and you continue to shepherd God's people in a way only you can.
Arch Jim, thank you. Thank you for being our shepherd. Thank you for exuding joy. Thank you for being an example of what the Catholic faith looks like in real life.
You know, Archbishop, I want to thank you so much for what you have done for me, my family, giving us opportunity, and what you've done for the church in the Archdiocese of Kansas City and Kansas. I want to thank you for that.
Archbishop, thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your example to me of what a true shepherd is, and for the tremendous leadership. Thank you. You've been a great gift to our Archdiocese and to me personally.
I love you with all my heart.